So just a discussion. I saw this earlier. WindowsCentral.com exclusive. Xbox President Sarah Bond has set up a new team dedicated to game preservation and forward compatibility. This is a big thing. I mean, who has been more so on top of backwards compatibility than anybody else? I'm going to have to say Xbox. I'm not a Xbox fanboy. If you're new to the channel, like, get off my nuts, man. I've got all the consoles. I criticize them when they deserve it, and I praise them when they deserve it as well. I'm just a game fan. I'm not a crazy fanboy one way or the other. But this is a big thing. Xbox, they've been, no matter what you want to say about Xbox, Microsoft, they've been a lot better with backwards compatibility than anyone else, in my opinion, just from things I've seen. Maybe not 100% perfect, but there's been a lot of mumblings lately as far as the possibilities with Xbox. I've said it since early on when the Series X and S came out. I was like, I think Xbox kind of going in a different direction here. Like, it is a console, but I almost look at the Xbox like it's not a console. The new Xbox, Xbox consoles, I looked at as consoles. The Series X and S, I started looking at it as just an entry point, a way for Microsoft to sell games. They sell games on PC. They own a ton of different companies. As like time goes on, it's like they own everything, and their games are offered in numerous places. I just look at Xbox like it's almost like a PC. And I think with some of the things that are being discussed nowadays, like I said, this is just a discussion, talking about this a bit and some other things. I think Xbox, they're changing the way they look at the industry. Numbers wise, have they been at the top of the game? No. I think they've done respectable numbers as far as console sales, but they're not in first place. It's just the way it is. But with some of the things that are being discussed out there, like there's been mumblings of possibly Steam coming to the Xbox, other game front end stores coming to the Xbox. And that just who knows if that's going to happen, but it just makes me feel like this could just be like, it's just a PC that is simplified. You could just download games. If you have a Xbox that takes discs, you put your disc in there. I'm always a fan of physical media, but PC gaming has really diverged from that. And we've just kind of grown to accept that. But with storefronts like Steam, it's like, hey, you buy your games, you get a new PC 5 years later, you still got your damn games, right? And I'm mostly fine with that. That's just, we've accepted that. Video game consoles, we not have all accepted that. A lot of people have. However you look at it's fine. But if there's some kind of guarantee that your digital library will always move with you, always when it comes to console gaming, hey, I think that kind of eases the tension of physical versus digital, right? But you got to have some guarantees on that. If they're really trying to push forward backward compatibility going into future generations, it's got to be everything. You got to be all in, right? You have to just, hey, every single freaking game that you bought, that you have the digital, copy of, when the new Xbox comes out, next generation, your games move to that. Sweet. You could still download them. That's really what I would hope for with these systems. But the architecture, stuff like that. But nowadays, it's like more and more, these consoles are like PCs, other than the Switch. Obviously, it's just an old Android device type of thing. But for these brands to stay successful, like, your game's got to follow with you, man. Like, backwards compatibility is a huge thing. Some people are like, and I understand it. When I buy a new console, and this is how I used, I bought I had an NES. We're going way back, all right? The Super Nintendo came out. I don't give a fuck about the NES anymore. Not until, down the road. It was all about the newness. I wanted to play the new stuff. I don't care about the old stuff, right? But a lot of us, we've gotten older. We care about the old stuff. Over time, you want to revisit old stuff. And there's things on the Xbox that I want to revisit. There's things in PlayStation I want to revisit. And there's not always access to that unless you get your old hardware, that kind of thing, right? So this could be huge. Now that I'm really thinking, like I said, this is just the discussion. Now I'm really thinking about this. Is this more so like we're ditching physical, so let's try to figure out a way to comfort people going into that? Is that what this is about? No, I'm really thinking it's just kind of like, off the cuff thinking here, like, is that what it's about? We're getting rid of physical? I go into Best Buy. Let's just be honest. I mean, I've been to numerous Best Buys, numerous Targets as well. The Xbox section is like you could miss it if you blink, right? It's just, I don't know. It's just the way it is. The Xbox sections are tiny. I've noticed it's like the Switch section's is biggest, then PlayStation's next biggest, then Xbox. Where's the Xbox stuff? No, I go into Best Buy down the street from me. I'm like, they don't sell Xbox games or what? But so is that what they're preparing for? To get rid of physical games and just digital only? Because there was that other leak that came out. I mean, we talked about they had this whole thing with their Xbox Series X that's going to be all digital, whatever it was called. I don't remember. We did a video on it. They're just testing the waters with that. They want to get rid of physical. Just, hey, digital's where the money's at, but we got to make sure people are comfortable with it, right? So we'll have to see, but here's the game preservation part. Recently, the preservation games become an increasing concern as the shift to digital licensing models. I don't know what they're going to say next, but that's the one thing. When you buy a game, you're not buying a game. You're granted a license for your money. You don't own shit. It's just the way it is, man. But that's we've beaten that to death, man. Online services have made it too easy for games to go permanently offline. There's like a whole movement. Like, what the hell is the game? Some racing game, Ubisoft or something, like took down. And it's like, if you bought that game, it's like, it happens, man. These games that are online only and then they just, boom, gone. That needs to change too. Like, permanently offline, then there's no offline mode. That's got to end. That's got to end. It's a massive problem in mobile gaming where publishers and companies like Apple and Google have no problem wiping games from existence. Even core platforms like Nintendo are known to shut down stores, offlining many games. The Wii U and the 3DS online activities, that's about to be over. What, 2 days from the recording of this video? Going to be over. Microsoft is closing parts of the Xbox 360 store this year for new purchases. What? However, hundreds of the most popular Xbox backward compatible games escape the 360 and continue to live on the Xbox One and Series X and S platforms. Seems that now they live on even further. As part of the email to her team, she revealed that Microsoft has now set up a dedicated team to ensure future proofing of current Xbox game library against future hardware paradigm shifts, ensuring that our games remain accessible long into the future. She states, "We formed a new team dedicated to game preservation, important to all of us at Xbox and the industry itself. We are building on our strong history of delivering backwards compatibility to our players, and we remain committed to bringing forward the amazing library of games for future generations of players to enjoy." So they state, this Windows Central article, sources tell us that Microsoft have much more, or have more, I'm adding words now, to share publicly in this area around the annual Xbox Showcase, which is expected to take place on June 9th, 2024. Okay, so that could be interesting. We're going to have to wait and see that showcase when that comes out, what they got to say about that. But if preservation is going to be a big thing with them with backwards compatibility, you got to go, it's got to be everything, man. It's got to be everything. Can't just be like, okay, just the Xbox stuff that Microsoft owns. It's got to be everything, third parties, everything. That would make me feel more comfortable. No, not fully comfortable, but it would make me more comfortable having a digital game. You know, like I already have digital content, but I try to go physical whenever possible, so I always have access to that if I want, or I could sell it, get rid of it, trade it. I don't freaking know. I know some people are like, "Oh man, I'm too old for that. I ain't selling or trading none of my shit." Well, man, if something happened and I couldn't put gas in my car, I couldn't feed my children's, I sell my damn video games. But I can't do that if they're digital. But okay, we're going all over the place, but there's a little discussion for the day. Really curious to hear what you guys got to say on this. Thanks for watching. Bye.